A loud noise came from behind. A sleek black SUV rushed past her like a rocket. Before Ada could even move, the tires rolled straight into a deep puddle beside her. Cold, dirty water shot into the air like a wave and hit her with full force. Her green uniform turned brown. Her face was wet. Mud was in her mouth. Her sandwich was ruined. Her whole body froze. She screamed. "See what you've done. Look at my clothes. This is my only uniform." The SUV didn't stop at first. But then it slowed down, reversed a little, and stopped right beside her. The window rolled down with a soft electric sound. Sitting inside was a young light-skinned lady wearing large sunglasses and bright red lipstick. Her nails were long and shiny. Her laugh was loud and sharp like broken glass. "Why didn't you walk faster or farther away from the road?" she said. "Or maybe buy your own car, Popper." Ada stood still. She couldn't speak. Her lips trembled, her eyes wide. She had never been insulted like that before. The lady rolled up the window, stepped on the accelerator, and zoomed away, laughing. The morning was cold. The sky was still dark, even though it was already 6:30 a.m. It had rained heavily the night before and the ground was wet and muddy. The air smelled like fresh rain and sand. Frogs croaked. Wind whistled. Ada pulled her green cleaning uniform over her head and rushed out of her small one-room apartment. Her black shoes were already damp, and her feet made squishy sounds with each step. She held her bag close to her chest. Inside was her ID card, a sandwich wrapped in nylon, and a cheap mobile phone with a cracked screen. She had been walking for over 30 minutes. The hotel she worked at was far, but she didn't mind. What she minded was being late. "If I'm late again, I'll lose my job," Ada whispered, her lips trembling. Her supervisor, Mrs. Johnson, didn't care about rain or traffic. "No excuses," she always said. Ada carefully walked on the edge of the road, avoiding potholes and puddles. She was tired but focused. Every time she saw a car coming, she quickly moved away to avoid getting splashed. She was almost there. Just 2 more minutes of walking. Then it happened. A loud sound came from behind. A sleek black SUV rushed past her like a rocket. Before Ada could even move, the tires rolled straight into a deep puddle beside her. Cold, dirty water shot into the air like a wave and hit her with full force. Her green uniform turned brown. Her face was wet. Mud was in her mouth. Her sandwich was ruined. Her whole body froze. She screamed. See what you've done. Look at my clothes. This is my only uniform." The SUV didn't stop at first. But then it slowed down, reversed a little, and stopped right beside her. The window rolled down with a soft electric hum. Sitting inside was a young light-skinned lady wearing large sunglasses and bright red lipstick. Her nails were long and shiny. Her laugh was loud and sharp like broken glass. "Why didn't you walk faster or farther away from the road?" she said. "Or maybe buy your own car, Popper." Ada stood still. She couldn't speak. Her lips trembled, her eyes wide. She had never been insulted like that before. The lady rolled up the window, stepped on the accelerator, and zoomed away, laughing. Ada slowly dropped to her knees. Her hands shook as she tried to wipe the water off her clothes. It was useless. She was wet. Dirty. She began to cry, not loudly but soft, small tears that made her eyes sting. She wiped them away quickly and stood up. She couldn't waste time. She still had to go to work. But she didn't know someone was watching her. Just across the street, a simple black Toyota Camry was parked beside a roadside Acra seller. Inside the car was a tall man in a shirt. He was eating a piece of Acra when he saw the splash. His eyes narrowed. He saw the SUV. He saw Ada's tears. And he pressed record on his phone. His name was James Otunba. He was only 31 years old, but he was already one of the biggest businessmen in Lagos. He owned hotels, restaurants, and delivery apps. But today he didn't come in a convoy. He didn't want attention. He just wanted to visit one of his hotels for a surprise inspection. And that Hotel Palms Hotel was where Ada worked. His assistant, a short man with glasses named Kunnel, looked shocked. "Olga, did you see that?" James nodded slowly. "I saw everything. That's Eunice, right? Chief Ola's daughter." Kunnel nodded. "Sir. The influencer. The model." James sighed. He knew Eunice well. Her father, Chief Ola, had tried to arrange a marriage between them. But James was not interested. Something about Eunice always felt cold. Proud. And now he had proof of the kind of person she really was. He watched Ada as she walked into the hotel gates, her shoulders drooping. James said, "Connell, find out who that girl is. I want her full name, her staff file, and her story." Connell nodded. "Yes, sir." James leaned back in his seat and watched the video again. He felt something stir in his chest. Anger. But not just anger. Something deeper. Something emotional. Because the moment he saw Ada kneel in the mud, it reminded him of someone. His mother. His late mother, who used to work as a cleaner. Who used to come home tired with sore feet and a quiet smile, just so James could go to school. His hands tightened around the phone. "She doesn't know it yet," James said quietly, "but her life is about to change." Inside the hotel, Ada slipped into the staff locker room. No one noticed her stained uniform. She was always invisible. Just another cleaner. She changed into her extra shirt even though it had holes. She tried to fix her face in the mirror, but the sadness stayed. She went to the lobby with a mop and a bucket. She tried to do her job. But her mind was spinning. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes burned. "Why did she do that to me?" Ada whispered. No one answered. But somewhere upstairs, behind a tinted office window, James stood watching her quietly. And he was already planning her tomorrow. The next morning, Ada woke up before the sun. Her eyes were heavy, but her spirit was strong. No matter what happened yesterday, she had a job to do. She got up, wore her green uniform, the one she had scrubbed clean through the night, and packed her little sandwich again. Her younger brother, Samuel, was still asleep on the mat beside her. She looked at his small body and smiled. She whispered, "Don't worry, Sam. One day we'll be okay." Ada walked again. The road was dry this time, but her heart still hurt. The memory of the splash, the laughter, and the insult played in her mind like a broken song. When she got to Palm's hotel, she quietly slipped into the locker room. But this time something was strange. There was a box inside her locker. She frowned. "What's this?" He looked around. No one was watching. She opened it slowly. Inside the box were two things. A brand new pair of black shoes, soft and shiny. A note that said, "For someone who walks tall even in the rain. Keep going." Ada's mouth opened. Her heart raced. She looked around again. Who did this? But no one answered. No one seemed to care. She walked out of the locker room, confused and surprised. Later that day, while she was cleaning the third-floor hallway, her name was called on the hotel's speaker. "Ada Ifeoma, report to the manager's office." Her heart dropped. "Oh no," she whispered. "What have I done?" She dropped her mop and rushed to the office. Her supervisor, Mrs. Johnson, was there. So was Mr. Calvin, the hotel's floor manager. He looked at her over his glasses. "Ada, from today forward," he said slowly, "you are no longer just a cleaner." Ada gasped. He smiled. "You've been promoted. You're now a guest service supervisor. You'll wear a suit, work at the front desk sometimes, and help train new staff." Ada blinked. She couldn't speak. Mrs. Johnson raised one brow. "Surprised?" "Yes, Ma," Ada said in a shaky voice. "Very surprised." "Don't be," Mr. Calvin said. "We've been watching your work. You're one of the most dedicated workers here." That was a lie. No one had ever noticed her before. No one cared. So who made this happen? That night, Ada couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling in her small room, holding the note and the shoebox close. "Who is doing this?" she whispered. "And why?" The answer sat quietly in an office on the 10th floor of the hotel. James. His laptop was open. His phone screen showed pictures of Ada's staff file, family background, and a short video of her cleaning and smiling at guests. His assistant, Connell, stood nearby. "Her parents died 2 years ago in a car crash," Connell said. "She was still in university then. She dropped out to raise her younger brother." James rubbed his chin. "No family help?" "None. No close relatives. She does everything on her own." James looked out the window at the city. His heart grew heavy. He had lived that kind of life too. He remembered hunger, struggle, and being called poor. He remembered his mother's hands, rough from cleaning floors. "Where is her brother now?" he asked. Connell replied, "He's about 12 years old. His name is Samuel. He's smart but not in school. Ada can't afford it." James nodded slowly. "I want you to do 2 things." "Yes, sir." Find the best school in her area. Pay Samuel's fees for the next 6 years. Quietly. And get Ada a better apartment. Somewhere decent. Make it a surprise. Connell stared. You want to do all that, anonymously? Yes, James said softly. She doesn't need to know it's from me. Not yet. The next week felt like magic for Ada. More kind surprises appeared in her locker. A new wristwatch with her initials on it. A pack of lunch from a high-class restaurant. A book called The Power of Quiet Women. Each gift had a handwritten note attached. For the one who shines even in silence. To remind you that you matter. For your light which no one can splash out. Ada started smiling again. She walked taller. Her new job came with better pay, and the uniform made her look like a lady from a magazine. One day while she was at the reception desk, James walked by. He was dressed like any normal staff member. Simple shirt, kind smile, no loud presence. He smiled at her. Good morning. Ada smiled back, unsure. Good morning, sir. Call me James, he said. She looked at him again. Are you new here? He laughed. Something like that. From that day, James began visiting the hotel more often. Sometimes he would chat with Ada. Other times he just sat in the lobby watching her work. He never mentioned who he really was. Ada began to feel something strange. A warmth. A flutter in her stomach. She tried to ignore it. Then one evening something shocking happened. She got home and found Samuel jumping up and down with joy. Sister Ada. Sister Ada, he shouted. Guess what? What is it? She asked, tired but smiling. I got a full scholarship. I'm going to Bright Future College. They said everything is paid. Ada dropped her bag in shock. Wait. What? How? Samuel waved a letter in her face. It had a school logo and the words. To the family of Samuel Ifioma. We are happy to offer your son a full scholarship, including books, uniforms, and meals. Ada couldn't believe it. She sat on the floor, shaking. Who is doing all this for us? She whispered. Why would anyone care about us like this? Samuel hugged her tightly. Maybe God sent someone. Ada didn't know what to say. She held her brother close, her eyes wet with happy tears. But deep inside, her heart burned with curiosity. Who was the angel behind the curtain? And why did he choose her? Ada was walking down the hotel hallway one Friday afternoon when a staff member whispered behind her back. She's the one he always comes to see. Ada heard it. Her heart skipped. For the past few weeks, people at Palms Hotel had been watching her more closely. It wasn't just because of her new role or clothes. It was because James had been showing up almost every other day, and always talking to her. He didn't act like a boss. He acted like someone curious, kind, honest. Sometimes he asked her what her dreams were. Other times he just listened to her talk about her brother, Samuel. One evening James even walked her halfway home. Still, Ada didn't know who he truly was. But the whispers had begun. Maybe she's using charm on him. Maybe she knows someone powerful. Maybe she's dating a manager in secret. She tried not to let it bother her. But that day, after the gossip reached her ears, Ada walked into the women's restroom and cried silently. I didn't ask for this, she whispered. I didn't beg anyone to notice me. Just then a knock came on the door. It was Connell, the short man who always followed James. Miss Ada, he said gently. James would like to see you. In the Skyview Lounge. Ada sniffed and wiped her face. Skyview Lounge? That's for VVIP guests. What am I going to do there? Connell smiled. Just come. The elevator felt like it was taking forever. Ada's heart thumped with every second. She had never been on the top floor before. When she stepped into the Skyview Lounge, her mouth dropped open. Everything sparkled, gold chairs, marble floors, giant windows that showed the whole city of Lagos. It looked like something from a dream. At the center of the room stood James, wearing a dark suit and holding a glass of orange juice. Hey Ada, he said warmly. Come in. Sit. She sat on the edge of the chair like a shy schoolgirl. He took a deep breath. There's something I need to tell you. Ada swallowed. Okay. James looked her in the eyes. I'm not just a visitor here, he said slowly. I'm the owner of Palms Hotel. Ada blinked. You're the what? I own this place, James said. And every gift, Every good change in your life lately, I made it happen. Ada stood up suddenly. Her legs felt weak. Wait, she said, shaking. You were the one who saw me that morning? Yes. I saw it all. The SUV. The splash. The insult. I made a video of it. Her hands covered her mouth. She couldn't speak. James continued, I couldn't just walk away after seeing that. It reminded me of my mother. She worked as a cleaner too. She died before I made it. I owe everything to women like her. Like you. Tears rolled down Ada's face. I don't know what to say. James walked closer. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know the truth. You deserve more than this world ever gave you. Ada cried silently. Her chest ached. Not from pain, but from the strange feeling of finally being seen. The next day James released the video to the media. He didn't include Ada's name, only Eunice's. The video showed the moment her SUV splashed water on a young hotel cleaner, and the words she spoke. Why didn't you walk faster or own your own car, pauper? The internet exploded. It was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, blogs. People were angry. Furious. Is this how she treats people? Disgusting behavior. Eunice must apologize. Within 24 hours, Eunice lost over 300,000 followers. Brand after brand began to cancel her contracts. Makeup companies, fashion brands, even a drink company pulled away. Eunice cried and screamed. She didn't know who posted the video. She called her father, Chief Ola. Daddy, help me. Please. But Chief Ola only sighed. I warned you many times. Your pride will destroy you. Now face the music. Eunice had never felt so alone. Finally, she made a decision. A week later, Ada walked into the hotel lobby and saw a camera crew outside. Before she could even ask, a sleek black SUV pulled up. It was Eunice. She stepped out wearing a simple dress, no makeup and dark glasses. She walked straight to Ada in front of the cameras. Ada froze. Eunice took off her glasses. Her eyes were red. I came to say sorry, she said loudly so the cameras would hear. To Ada Ifioma. I treated her badly. I splashed her with water and insulted her. I was wrong. Ada didn't know what to do. Her hands shook. Eunice brought out a white envelope. This is for you. A compensation from my heart. Ada took it slowly. Inside were 10 million naira in check and a handwritten note of apology. Eunice turned to the camera. I've made mistakes. But I hope this is a first step to becoming better. She walked away as quickly as she came. The news spread like wildfire. People started praising Ada for her humility. They admired how she didn't fight back, yet justice came to her. She became a symbol of grace under pain. Later that evening, Ada sat with James at the hotel garden. The air was cool. Flowers danced in the wind. She looked at him quietly. Why me? She asked. There are so many other girls. James smiled. You remind me of someone I loved deeply. My mother. She was kind like you. Strong like you. She fought life every day but never stopped smiling. Ada looked down shy. James took her hand. I'm not here to impress you, Ada. I'm here to show you that love still sees people, even when the world ignores them. Ada's eyes filled with soft tears. And just like that, a seed of love bloomed in her heart. Ada's life changed faster than she ever imagined. Within a few weeks, she was no longer just the cleaner in a green uniform. She was now the new supervisor of staff welfare at Palms Hotel. She had her own small office, a better salary and a special locker room. And most of all, she had James. He came often. Never loud. Never showing off. Sometimes he brought her food or waited by the door to walk her home. Sometimes they just sat and talked under the evening sky. Felt like a dream. But in Lagos, dreams attract whispers. One morning as Ada walked into the hotel staff lounge, everything went quiet. Eyes followed her. Whispers began again. She's the one dating Oga James. She's just a cleaner. What charm did she use? I heard she uses juju. That's how she caught him. She's a gold digger. They say he even bought her a house. The words cut like sharp knives. Ada tried to ignore them. But her smile faded more each day. One evening she sat alone in the hotel garden, her head on her knees, crying quietly. She hadn't told James. She didn't want to sound weak. But the pressure was building. Then something worse happened. A blog post appeared on a gossip website. Title: Billionaire James Adewale under a spell? New girlfriend Ada once visited a herbalist in Badagry. The article was full of lies. It said Ada used charms to make James fall in love with her. It claimed she visited a spiritualist. It showed an old picture of her wearing native clothes beside her sick younger brother. She's a gold digger, the article said. She's not who she pretends to be. It spread fast. By noon, people were sharing it on social media. Comments filled Ada's Instagram page. You're a disgrace. Witch. You're using jazz. You're not fit to stand beside James. Even some hotel staff began avoiding her. Ada's world shook. She locked herself in her small office and wept for hours. She didn't eat. She didn't talk to anyone. He felt alone. Again. James heard about the blog post from Connell. He stood quietly in his office, arms folded, staring at the screen. Connell sighed. They're coming for her hard, sir. Maybe we should give her space. James didn't reply. Instead, he grabbed his car keys. He found Ada at her locker, packing her few things. Ada, what are you doing? He asked, his voice soft but strong. I can't stay here anymore, Ada said, eyes red and swollen. Everybody is calling me a witch. They said I trapped you. Even staff avoid me now. James stepped forward. Do you believe them? Ada paused. No, she said slowly, but their words hurt. James took her hand. Then stop running. She looked up at him. I just want peace. Then let me give you peace, he said. And with that, James did something shocking. The very next day, James called a press conference at the hotel. The media came. Staff gathered. Even curious guests watched from balconies. James stood before the cameras, Ada by his side. I want to clear something today, he said firmly. Her name is Ada Ifeoma. She is not a gold digger. She is not a witch. She is the kindest, strongest woman I have ever met. Cameras flashed. Gasps followed. Everything you read online is a lie, James continued. Ada has never used jazz. I am not under any spell. I fell in love with her with open eyes. Because of who she is. Not what she has. Reporters began shouting questions. Sir, is it true you bought her a house? Sir, is this a serious relationship? Do you plan to marry her? James smiled. I haven't bought her a house yet, he said. But if she lets me, I will. And yes, this is serious. Then he looked at Ada with full eyes. I plan to marry her. A soft scream rose from the back of the crowd. It was Eunice. She had come with her camera team expecting to record drama. Instead, she saw the man she once mocked stand tall beside the woman she once humiliated. She quickly left. But the world saw it all. That night, Ada's phone rang nonstop. Messages came pouring in. I'm sorry I doubted you. You're such a strong woman. You've inspired me. You make me believe good people still win. Brands that once chased James now begged for interviews with Ada. Even her old university roommate messaged her. Girl, I saw you on TV. You were so calm. I'm proud of you. But through it all, Ada stayed humble. She still showed up at the hotel early. Still wore simple dresses. Still greeted every cleaner with a warm smile. When asked what her secret was, she said, God, grace, and never losing your heart. But even with the storm passing, James noticed something. Ada was growing quiet again. One night he sat with her on a rooftop under the stars. Ada, he asked gently, what's troubling you now? She took a deep breath. I'm scared, she said. Of what? Of being too happy. He nodded slowly. I used to feel that way too, he replied. Like if things are too good, something bad must be coming. She nodded, eyes filling. Exactly. James reached for her hand. Then let's face whatever comes. Together. Ada rested her head on his shoulder. In the quiet she whispered, okay. And for the first time in years, she believed it. Ada stood in front of her small mirror one sunny Saturday morning, adjusting her gold earrings with shaking fingers. She was wearing a simple but elegant dress. Her hair was curled and pinned with tiny silver petals. Her lips trembled as she looked at herself. I can't believe this is me. Samuel, her younger brother, now in his final year at one of the best private schools in Lagos, stood at the door beaming proudly. You look like a princess, Ada, he said. Ada smiled. A tear rolled down her cheek. No, Sam. Today, I feel like a queen. The hall was decorated with soft white roses and golden lights. Guests had started arriving from all parts of Lagos and beyond. Businessmen, hotel staff, influencers, waiters, journalists, family and strangers. All dressed up to witness what no one could have imagined months ago. James Adewale, the billionaire, the hotel tycoon, the Lagos golden boy, was getting married to Ada Ifeoma, the girl who used to clean hotel bathrooms. People whispered, not with hate but with amazement. She must be really special. He chose her above everyone else. There must be something deep in her spirit. Even Eunice showed up, quietly with no cameras, dressed in modest clothes and carrying a handwritten card that read, "I was wrong. Thank you for forgiving me." Ada smiled as she accepted it and hugged her softly. James stood at the altar, his suit sharp, his eyes shining with emotion. As the soft wedding music played, Ada walked down the aisle, holding Samuel's hand tightly. The whole hall stood still. Every eye watched her. Even the chandeliers seemed to pause and blink in awe. When Ada reached James, he took her hand and whispered, "I've waited for you my whole life." Ada's lips trembled as she whispered back, "And I never imagined someone like you would wait for someone like me." The vows were said slowly. Reby. Every word soaked in honesty. "I promise to love you, Ada, not just because you're strong, but because you made me believe in goodness again. I promise to love you, James, not because of what you have, but because of who you are when no one is watching." When the priest said, "You may now kiss the bride," everyone clapped, cheered and even wiped their tears. Even some of the hotel staff, once jealous, cried openly, seeing how love had rewritten Ada's story. After the wedding, James and Ada moved into a calm, private home on Banana Island. But Ada never let the riches change her heart. She still called the cleaners by name whenever she visited any of the hotels. She started a foundation for low-income families, especially for single women raising children. She named it the Green Uniform Foundation, in memory of the job that changed her life. She even started offering free evening classes to cleaners who wanted to go back to school. Samuel helped her with the tech. The Ada of before, the quiet girl who cried after being splashed by a rude stranger, was gone. In her place stood a woman the whole city admired. But life wasn't perfect. One day, a news channel tried to stir old drama again. A headline appeared. "James's wife used to scrub floors. Is she good enough to sit beside him in business meetings?" Ada saw it. Her hands trembled. But this time she didn't cry. She walked into James's home office, showed him the article and asked calmly, "Are you ashamed of me?" James looked up with fire in his eyes. "Ashamed?" he asked. "I'm honored by you." He stood up and kissed her forehead. "I will never let them shame you for rising up. Your story is my pride. It reminds me why I love you." And with that he went online and posted, "If you think my wife is too humble for the boardroom, then maybe we should build better boardrooms. Ones where strength comes from the heart, not high heels or fancy names." That post went viral. Again Ada's quiet grace won. Again her strength silenced critics. Again love stood taller than hate. 1 year later something magical happened. Ada gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Grace Ifeoma Adewale. She had James's eyes, and Ada's warm smile. At the naming ceremony, Samuel stood up to give a speech. "My sister Ada taught me how to survive, how to work hard and how to love people even when they hurt you. Because of her, I now know that a person's past doesn't limit their future." He turned to Ada. "And one day when baby Grace grows up and asks you where she came from, I hope you'll tell her not just about the house we now live in, but about the rain that fell the day this story began." Ada's eyes welled with tears as she hugged her brother tightly. She remembered it all. The rain, the SUV, the splash, the laughter of Eunice, the silent tears she cried. And she remembered the man in the car that morning, eating akra quietly, who saw her pain and chose to do something about it. James wrapped his arms around her as the guests clapped and danced. "Do you still think this is a dream?" he whispered. Ada looked up at him and smiled softly. "No, James. This is better than any dream I ever had." He held her tighter. "Then let's never wake up." And as fireworks lit up the Lagos night sky, they danced. A cleaner and a billionaire. A woman with wounds and a man with a memory. A love story the world almost never believed,